Everybody ready?
Wow.
We hot, we ready? All quiet on the set. 5,
That's what the general
4, 3.
Go, General. Get him, General. My dude, man, I missed that. Yo, I missed that hat, man. The black hat, man, with
Yes.
the 2 guns on it.
Yes, sir.
Come on now.
Yes, sir.
General, G. I love you, General.
Love you too, Flav.
Many years here,
No
man.
doubt.
Many years of
Just
good
came,
friendship
bro.
here.
He's in the room 40 minutes, man. Like we about to film. He want to start
That
this
came to me the last time we came down here and performed, man. I remember the General, man. Come on, man.
Well, that's the same thing that struck me when, you know, when I was actually coming down. I was working a couple days on a project about Skid Row, and before that I met this fine gentleman, this brother Pete White, who's the head of the Los Angeles Community Action Network, and we were actually talking and dealing with the people. Matter of fact, Pete is a fine speaker, could speak for himself, but I'm Chuck D, and this is Public Enemy, and Pete White from the LA Can Network, and throughout the course of that day, I ran into that brother, General Jeff, and just how the pieces all came together to make the Skid Row Music Festival. I mean, I think, Pete, you could take the floor on just the Skid Row area, what happened about that event and that day, how the pieces came together, because this is something that y'all deal with every second, not even just days, or every second is something going down.
Yeah, so it was definitely a blessing to hook up with Chuck and Chuck's family and the University of Santa Barbara to figure out how we can bring the academy, the universities, social justice organizations, and entertainment together, and how we could create books and knowledge and information and epistemology, if you will, to talk about the social conditions and then radiate that across beats. Chuck, of course, was on point immediately on that idea, because he'd been doing it forever. And we took a tour down on Skid Row, and it was something Chuck said while we were walking. He was like, "Damn, I can see black until the eye goes dim." And that was really the moment where, you know, the idea, the bubbling to do something different and to do something big on Skid Row came. And I mean, we're very intentional in saying that you can't have a social movement without music, without arts, without culture. And how can we begin to do that? And so we looked at the Skid Row Festival as being sort of the kickoff to that. And we set out to answer one question: can hip-hop make the invisible visible? And we're very clear that hip-hop has always made the invisible very visible, but post Skid Row Festival, the eyes, all eyes, has been on Skid Row and the social injustices that's happening here. And so we look upon this as something that continues to grow. The festival was just one day, like the Great Wall of China. Somebody had to carry the sand, someone had to carry the water. And so that's what we're doing today, figuring out who's going to start mixing those two ingredients up together.
I got my hand up.
And I definitely want to jump in and say, for the record, just like Flav was alluding to, me and these cats go back decades. So when Chuck was saying that he ran into General Jeff, for those that don't know, we didn't just meet that day. We go back decades. I can remember how back in the late 80s.
Talking about like maybe like 87, 88.
Yeah, up in there.
Chilling out in Colorado.
Denver.
Come on now.
Back to
Come on.
Going to see the fam. Going to see the fam.
Let me tell you something. You know that elephants eat up peanuts, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, but the reason why people gotta watch out for me is because my memory is the length of a peanut, but it can eat up the elephant stone.
So just to be clear, you know, when we talk about the Operation Skid Row Music Festival, you know, that's Chuck D, that's P. White, LA Can, you know, we want to give it up to all the folks at LA Can that really behind the scenes rolled up their sleeves and made that thing happen, you know. So we definitely want to let folks know the Skid Row community came through when we needed to come through behind the scenes. You know, we let the superstars shine on stage, but there's a whole lot going behind the scenes. But going back to on stage, you know, we want to talk about all the groups that participated. So we want to talk about the LA Posse who's in the building right now. You know, we want to talk about, you know, Lady of Rage, you know, Breeze, Egyptian Lover, you know, Mellow Man Ace, Nipsey Hussle, Kurupt, King T, Kid Frost, You know, I'm missing so many acts. You know, Uncle Bean.
I seen Sir Jinx.
X-Clan. Yeah, Sir Jinx.
Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
Yo-Yo. You know what I mean?
Medusa.
And then don't forget about the Freestyle Fellowship, and don't forget about Rappers Rap group featuring Ronnie, Hudson. You know what I mean? All of that.
Money B came.
Money B. I was I'm trying to get Money B off.
Reggae flavors of Arise Roots was on the stage.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then more importantly, you know, the Skid Row community, the Skid Row acts was in there as well. You know what I'm saying? So we talking about Uncle Bean, we talking about Crushow, who's in the building right now. You know, you know what I mean? So represent the community and did his thing as well. You know, the Skid Row Unit College Division, you know, the Skid Row players, aka the Skid Row drummers, did their thing. You know, and who am I leaving out? You know, Skid Row Flow and, you know, yeah, so that's the thing when we talking about moving forward. You know, it's one thing for Pete and Chuck to notice that it's so much black as far as the eyes can see, but at the same time, black is not standing still anymore. Black is actually moving and generating positive energy. So as you can see right here today in this room, the positive energy is continuing. And so, you know, this movement don't stop. And so we're going to keep on going. So where we going from here, Chuck?
Well, the situation is dire across the planet, no matter how much things are telling lies to your vision that you see on these things they call TV and the media out there, and the social networking saying that everything is all fantastic and great. I like to commend all the brothers and sisters in my organization, Public Enemy. We've been doing it for years, and especially in different countries, different places all around the country, and to link up with the situation in LA, when you see it magnified across this country as being, oh, it's all about Hollywood, it's all about extra and all, you know, and everybody sees LA and doesn't know that the largest concentration of homeless people are here in downtown LA, aka Skid Row, and 95% of them are black people in the days that they say we're in a post-racial nation. I also like to thank my wife, Dr. Gay Teresa Johnson, Dr. George Lipsitz from UCSB, and also Clyde Woods, who passed away last year. But he really got the ball rolling, along with Jordan Camp and Christina Heatherton. They got the ball rolling on just the understanding of trying to make this quote-unquote invisible situation visible. When we came together, it was like, well, can Rapp actually call and answer to that? And as people like Brother Malik Farrakhan, Professor Griff, Brother James Norman on the other side, you know, people like, our thing is that rap music has always could be used as a vehicle to be the voice of the voiceless, but also the action of those that are being ignored and passed over.
Absolutely.
And when we reached out to people, I reached out to people on my iPhone via text. You reached out on your phone and your Rolodex. Pete reached out. You know, people in my group, they reached out. And there was 30 artists / performers that showed up and gave their love downtown at the concentration of so many people on a day full of love in the streets of LA, free of charge to the people, with rap music answering to that, with media scrutiny up to the point, and the best, most meaningful concentration, I think, musically in the streets of LA. You know, maybe you could look at Watch Stacks as being, because that was actually the seed of this.
Absolutely.
And we got LA Times to look at it and say, okay, you know, wow, they're doing something. But I'm appalled by the lack of music press that said nothing about this.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm like saying that, you know, the biggest story, I think that week they talked about Corey Guns having gun charge. And I'm talking about Rolling Stone. I'm talking about Spin Magazine. I'm talking about all the hip-hop blogs and all that. And waiting for rap to have an issue and a problem, a.k.a. black people to have an issue and a problem, which is big news in America, and also has a profit motive behind it. So whenever we're at our worst projecting it across, it gets projected even further because it's actually financially beneficial for structures to look at rap music and what we do as a people and projecting the worst about us. And in this situation, it was a day of pride and love, and I'm just appalled. And you know what? That's a small fly in the buttermilk, it may be. But I'm saying it has to be significant, because when rap music and hip-hop gives back like it did that day, that should have been magnified across the earth. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to put it to that way. So I've been angry for like 3 weeks. At the fact, I've been watching the news since this is going down and this is going down, and it was said that there is a counterintelligence program in effect, and we should be aware and pay attention to the fact. But the thing about it, this is such a small situation. We want to make a significant statement. We want to be able to do this in almost every major or minor city in America, to go into the worst areas and be able to have a message to the people and connect them to the people that might feel accountable to help the situation out. And this is this is what we do as musicians.
Absolutely.
If we come from the people, how the hell we're going to floss to the people? If we come from the people, how the hell are we going to abuse the people? That's something out of. I mean, I look at a lot of the rap community sometimes, and they rather for the rap community to look like a whole bunch of Richard Nixons, Ronald Reagan. It's like these cats salute so much on capitalism and whoop whoop and separating themselves from the people. You swear there was J. Edgar Hoover, man, J. Hoover music.
Let me ask you this question, Chuck. Compare what we did the first time ever in history, the Skid Row, Operation Skid Row Music Festival. Compare that to Woodstock.
The thing is, you can't, because this wouldn't have been possible without organizational strength. And what Pete White and L.A. Can did, what you did on the artist organizational end, the red tape that this organization goes by the second. He can speak for himself. I mean, we were all the way up to a certain point, the red tape that we're trying to say that we're trying to do something good. Number one is the antennas are up because, rap is coming into.
I mean, it was interesting. It was interesting up to an hour prior to the Skid Row Festival. The roadblocks that they were attempting to put in front of us, the impediments, the legal impediments. I mean, we were legal from day one, point one, but we had to bring in attorneys to ensure we kept law enforcement away from us. I don't know how many people were there that day, but if you looked up and down 6th Street, there was a wall of police officers in riot gear. We were getting emails, but this also speaks to the brilliance of the performance and the brilliance of communities coming together. They also threatened to send out metro units and gang squads, because that's code. Hip-hop means violence. Hip-hop is race, is all of these things. And we showed something different. We showed something that we knew from the giddy, that if we brought people around a message, and that message was, does hip-hop make the invisible visible? We knew that we could keep all that negativity out of there. Right after the performance, it was very interesting. The captain of Central Division, he came on the block looking to say, and he's a brother. He came and he put his head down and he was like, thank you so much. And one would only have to say was that thank you so much. Thank you for not turning it out. Thank you for doing what you did. But there was something deeper behind the thank you, because hours later, he was the same individuals, or that organization was the same organization talking about attempting to shut it down. But of course, we pushed it forward. All power to the people, no delay, as we always do.
Absolutely.
It felt good to be up there with some legends, people that come back just to give, that's always giving, you know, for the people. I consider my music, people ask me what kind of rapper am I, and I say the new era folk song. You know, I say I do music for the streets, for the people in the streets. Basically, I see the streets as like a slave field, because we're just a corporation here in America. So I see it as it was an opportunity for me to bring some people up and to show that I actually have a voice to be reckoned with, and to say something more than what's being said. I mean, I'm not really spitting and squatting on anybody that's doing what they're doing right now, but like you said, it's a movement that really needs to be done, and I'm down here every day. I occupy LA streets every day, and just to try to get the people up. And then as an artist, it was big just because, like I said, I'm with legends, man. I did some shoes for Flavor Flav for the Flavor of Love over years ago, and they were just giving to him. But my signature's been on forever, and then me and my boy did some stuff for him.
And I still got them, and I still wear them.
Yeah.
Also, that performed that day is some hip-hop legends, LA Posse, and I'm going to let them give their own resume as far as what they've done, who they are, who they've worked with, and what, and my question to you guys is, y'all some beautiful brothers, you know, we go way back. What did performing in Skid Row mean to you guys?
Wow. Well, yeah, well, me personally, when Daryl told me that you would call, that Chuck was calling, I'm like, yo, I mean, it was a no-brainer for us.
Can't say no.
I mean, who was going to say, like, no, Chuck is calling, we got to roll.
Yeah, you got to do
so, it was really, like you say, it was an honor. I was shocked. I'm like, yo, you really want us to get out with it?
Yeah, it was uplifting for us.
Yeah, it was cool.
We weren't known as performers. We were known as producers, and we produced LL Cool J's biggest selling album to date. And he just, what did he do, host the Grammys last night or whatever, television shows, so on and so forth. So back in '85 or whatever, we're fresh out of LA in New York, and we meet Chuck and Flav and Davey D, and we don't know how to get on the train. We didn't understand. We didn't understand anything. It's super cold, and, but they embraced us and understood that we were artists, producers, musicians, and we gave 100, and they gave 100 back.
No doubt.
And now, what took place back then has resonated into what it is now. So whatever we can do to help support the movement, we're down, because we come from that movement.
Right.
We went to New York with $260 between the two of us.
Right.
Didn't know where we would stay, thought about sleeping at the park, had all our 2-inch reel. I mean, everything is bananas. The story doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, with Russell Simmons and everybody, we pulled it together, and it's good. So this brother right here, who needs to make records, guess what? We can produce. We make music.
Yo, I want to lay my swag down, too.
Flav, what you got to say, baby?
Something, I know.
But I just want to, first of all, you know, commend you brothers, you know what I'm saying, and my partner Chuck here, you know, for really putting on this program that you guys did put on the day that we did perform at Skid Row. You know, I was really most proud of you guys, you know what I'm saying, for really pulling that together. And Chuck, I mean, I had to do it, man, because I know, you know, how hard you work at this, everything, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, I didn't really know the full impact of it until I got here. And once I got here, then that's when my eyes really opened up, like, oh, this is the real Skid Row shit, you know, and, you know, I remember, like, back when I was, like, 13, 14, and I ran away from home and shit, you know what I'm saying, and I stayed out on the streets, you know, for like a year. You know what I'm saying? I know what it feels like, you know what I'm saying, to sleep inside of a dumpster before the garbage truck comes to dump it. You know, to get out of there before it comes to dump it. I know what it feels like to go over to a garbage can hungry, and you see somebody that do some Kentucky Fried Chicken away, and you pick the meat off the bone and eat it, and I went through all of that. You know what I'm saying? When I was 13 or 14, I didn't have to. But it was a choice that I made because of me wanting to not follow rules at home and everything, you know what I'm saying? And me and my parents was getting into it, so I ended up leaving the crib, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, God steered me back towards home because he told me, hey, look, you don't need to be out here. There are a lot of people that need to be out here, but you're not one of them. You know what I'm saying? In the whole nine, and I'm glad that, you know, God has steered me back towards home and everything. But when I was out here performing that day, and I seen a lot of the people out here, and I even shook their hands to a lot of the homeless people, a lot of people that even supported us when they was really doing good back in the days, you know. I mean, these people came out and supported us. They bought our albums, they bought our tapes, they bought our CDs, and then through the years, you know, hey, things happen. You know what I'm saying? To where they end up on streets like Skid Row, and they're not doing as good today as they used to be. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I was mainly glad to come back and touch a lot of those people too. You know what I'm saying? People that made us who we are. You know what I'm saying? In the whole nine. And you know, like Chuck said, I think that something like this needs to be done in every major city across America, because in every major city across America, hey man, we got a lot of people that's homeless, a lot of people that's not thinking about going out to get a job. They just want to sit out there and shake their cup all day, but that's what I call a mental sickness too, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people that really feel deep down in their heart, I don't think I can. You know what I'm saying? And what we need to do with programs like this is to change the thoughts of a lot of people that think like that. Change those thoughts to, I know I can. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that we was able to come out here and, you know, and give ourselves to a lot of the people that did make us who we were. And I was glad to see some of my old friends, you know what I'm saying, like you, you know, General, you know, and LA Posse, Daryl the Muffler, and I seen Lady of Rage and Money B from Digital Underground when we was out, you know, doing tours together. And when I seen Money B, the first person that came to my mind was Tupac. Why? Because that's when I first met Tupac, and he was about 16 years old. And, you know, he was more like a roadie, you know what I'm saying, for Digital Underground. But then again, too, you know, he was getting the mic at times and everything. And I really thank Tupac. To this day, I wrote a book. And I want y'all to get my book. It's called Flavor Flav, The Icon, The Memoirs. And if y'all read my book, y'all will read that Tupac saved me from going to jail for the rest of my life, because I was about to commit a murder by accident. And Tupac is the one that stopped me, and I was about to hit a guy over the head with a fire extinguisher. And Tupac stopped me, man. If I would have did that, I would have been in jail to this day, and my group would have still went on and would have, you know what I'm saying? I know you guys would have still had to do what y'all had to do, but that's when they broke in the dressing room and stole our Uzis, the S1 Uzis that time, and everything, you know. So,
And this basically is addressed to the hip-hop community. This is an actual document. This is a precursor. This is an overview. This entire document is an overview to the actual recommendations that will be made to actually replace the mental health system that is currently in place. And so this is an actual letter to the hip-hop community from Dr. Diane Woods actually inviting us to be involved. So if y'all could do, and I hold her in high esteem. This sister is very powerful. You know, she's got a powerful message, and she supports 100% our positive movement in Skid Row.
Mental illness and substance abuse and addiction. I think it's important to note that when we see our sister, we saying goodbye to our sister Whitney, who suffered from the disease of addiction, which it is a disease, and connecting that with mental health and mental illness. It's important that we talk about mental health and mental illness in Skid Row and in other communities. I know there was a study done a few years ago about PTSD and young children, but it's not just young children who's facing trauma in these communities, it's everyone facing trauma. And so it's imperative that we talk about it. It's imperative that we as black folks stop being afraid to go and seek the treatment that we need, because you know that stigma, we have a stigma. Culturally, we'll say we ain't going to see no doctor to talk about our mental health issues. I'm saying right now that we need to talk to someone if we're going through bouts of depression. And bouts of depression are symptoms of a mental illness. We need to deal with that, because if we don't deal with it in that way, we oftentimes revert to dealing with it one against the other. And so it is imperative that we look at this document. It is imperative that we continue to talk about the mental health of our communities, but then connect that to the structural deficits that are in our communities as well.
Absolutely.
Housing, education, healthy food, the environment. All of these things lead to the mental illness and the mental health issues that we have. And I think that's what we're doing here, talking about. And I think that's what hip-hop can do. It can uplift and bring about change.
And so I just want to say that before we go to get some other voices right quick, because we do kind of have to wrap this up, but I just want to clarify, again, this is a statewide document, and it's all about overhauling the mental health system that's in place right now. This is about the most extensive data collection that I've ever seen in any document, and definitely anyone that I've been affiliated with. So we do have a couple of extra copies for folks out there in the audience, and you know, we're going to go forward with this. So this is the hip-hop community saying we are in the process of doing things. This was not just a concert just for the homies. It didn't end there. That's why we're here today to say we're still moving forward. We're still doing things, and as you see, we're addressing policy and procedure. We got my man Daryl from LA Posse want to say something right quick.
Yeah, one more thing to elaborate on what you're talking about. Jeff and I have also had conversations about doing a documentary based on the things that we're addressing right now. And timing was always important, and God is good. Now we've grown and expanded and have a lot of powerful people with us right now, and the documentary will take place. It will get done, and we can provide this information so that people can see it, hear it, understand it, and we'll put it right in their faces. So it's all a good thing.
Come on, Griff.
Let me say something, and I want Chuck to answer this. We have to, we can't miss this opportunity to let the global community know the reason why hip-hop is so valuable and important as a medium to get this kind of issue across to everyone. How important is hip-hop in this?
Hip-hop has been co-opted to be the voice of young America, but it's been the moment it crossed the threshold into that redefinition was the area that was seized. So it's very important for artists to actually identify how it's been seized, to go in to make situations accountable. There's only a few situations, only a couple of record companies. Radio stations are owned by 3 or 4 situations in this country. Once we identify the human beings, or at least, you know, they appear to be human beings, where they live, their social security number, just like they identify us. We've been on CIA, FBI lists for 25 years. Matter of fact, we've made their top 10 quicker than a black radio top 10. So, but if we're going to be identified, sometimes the best method is that you hold somebody else who's your adversary accountable by name. They know where our children go to school. We should know theirs. Let's all be together, like Al Green said. So you don't get away by acting anonymously, pushing a button on a law, pushing a button that will affect, never has it been so few that affect so many. So we have to identify the few. And hip-hop can do that better than anybody. They can make a song about a person. I mean, look, if Lil Wayne turns his head and makes a song about a person who's derogatory to the environment, all of a sudden, that can just he'll be under super surveillance, but the thing about it, that's what hip-hop is most powerfully, is being a voice to the earth. You want to become worldwide, man, you got to deal with, identifying your surrounding injustices, and that's what's happening in hip-hop around the planet.
Questions?
Yeah, we do some Q&A for 5 minutes, and we got to roll.